directors for 2016 and as well for this new leadership team. So as you can see, we're doing something very different, but we're hoping that it will reach the same masses that it has in the past, and we can do it from the comfort of our home thanks to technology. So, please give us your feedback. We always welcome that, but we're hoping that this will work for everyone as people get more and more in tune to it. We're going to introduce the board now. My name's Arthur Reese. I'm the president. I live on Wittering Way. This is my second stint, and I am glad to be a part of this new leadership team. And with that being said, I'll turn it over to Yvonne.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yvonne Lee, and I live on Reflection Creek Drive, and this is my first time on the board.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Junior Clark. I live on Reflection Creek Drive as well. I'm the treasurer, and it's my first time on the board.
Well, good. Welcome. Any viewers out there? Those that are able to?
We actually have 3 viewers currently.
Good, good. Welcome, you guys. And we hope that as this process continues throughout this year and going forward, that we will viewership number will increase. So really what this is just basically a meeting for the board to kind of discuss what we're going to present at the HOA meeting that is going to take place on March 3rd. Am I correct, Junior?
That is correct.
Okay, good. So, and what we've done is I've kind of put together some thoughts, and what we're going to do is this is the session where we will kind of discuss what we will present, what we'll talk about. We don't have to go in that much detail because there's probably some homework behind it. There's presentations that I think that we want to present also. So with that being said, one of the first things that we'll do that I want to have on the agenda, as always, is we're going to welcome everyone. And then just because of the past year history, I want to not so much revisit last year's meetings, but what I want to do is really talk about our expectations of as a leadership, expectations of how we conduct ourselves in the meetings. I want all of us to be heard, but most importantly, I want everyone to be respected. That's really key. Each and every one of us owns homes here, and we all have to pay our fees, and everyone should have the opportunity to be able to speak, but we just need to do it decent and in order. And that is something that I want to make sure that we emphasize, not spend a whole lot of time on, but I just want to make sure that we put that out there for everyone to know. So, Yvonne, Junior, how do you feel about that? Not spending a whole lot of time, but just putting out there and setting the tone for not only this meeting, but future meetings as well.
I agree, and I feel that the homeowners are entitled to a decent, respectable meeting.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Also the fact that we'll be live streaming these events as well, and also knowing that it's actually going to be posted on YouTube will actually make people either engage in a different manner. So it's actually actually more beneficial to us. So I think we're going to have a positive meeting going forward.
Great. Okay. So after we do that, I guess what we can do while we put out their expectations of them and what we expect, for them to act at meetings or what have you, I think we also should share with them what they should expect from us. So what I'd like for us to do is, we kind of touched on it when we got elected. I think we had an opportunity. Each one of us got up and kind of shared our vision and what was expected, what they should expect, the homeowner should expect from us if since we were selected. So, if you don't mind, I'd like for us to add that as well. So when we talk about expectations from the community, also want to share expectations from each one of us. Is that okay?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Um, so after we do that, which I kind of call the pleasantries, if you will, I think what we should do is really move into the core of actions that has taken place since our election, which we came in, I think, the last week of November, somewhere around the third, fourth week of November. We were faced with some actions that needed to have some attention to, and we needed to make some decisions. So one of the things that that we addressed, which a lot of homeowners came to each one of us probably individually last year, was the lawn care services. And there was, I don't want to say a general consensus, because that would mean that, you know, maybe half the community spoke, and that I can't clear consciously say that that was the case. But I would say a good number of folks are really concerned about the past lawn care provider that we had. So everybody, for the most part, was very comfortable with our previous lawn care service, Ron Smith. And so what we did as a board, what we voted to relinquish the duties or terminate the contract for the past company. Junior, I can't think of the name. Yvonne, do you know the name? Red Leaf. Okay, thank you. And what we did was we terminated effective 12/31. There was a cost for early termination. However, what we were able to negotiate with Ron Smith was they took that into consideration, our termination cost, and they reduced our fee to cover that cost. And originally they gave a bid last summer to the previous board, and what they did was they honored that bid, and that, so because they came in the middle of the year, coming in January, that's the middle of the year, because we normally sign contracts in July, I think June or July, maybe May. However, because they're coming in kind of mid-year, what we were able to do, so we won't have to go back through this bid processing with them for increased fees or what have you. What the board did, well, we negotiated that the rate that we have now is good until May or June 2017. So we do not have to go back through a bidding process with them or worry about a rate increase for them for the next 18 months. So that was one of the conditions as well. And also, again, they gave us a discount on the early termination. So what we did was we had flowers put in at the front of the year. We do this every late fall, early winter, somewhere around that. So instead of letting Red Leaf do it, what we did was we let Ron Smith do it, but then they decreased it by whatever the early termination fee was. So that's how we were able to not cause any uh, extra financial burden on the community from that. Uh, June, you want to add anything to that, Yvonne?
No.
No, that.
Okay. Um, so so that's really, the reason why we did it was, again, aesthetics. A lot of concern in the community. People felt more comfortable going back to what we had had for the past six or 7 years. Um, and again, we saved money, and we didn't cause any financial burden to the community.
And it looked more attractive.
And it looked more attractive, absolutely. So I think we came out win-win. Um, and I did speak briefly to the owner of Red Leaf, and again, no hard feelings. He felt it was a business decision, and we moved forward. So everything is well with that. So we want to be able to communicate that to the rest of the HOA. So that's one of the agenda items that we will talk about is for under the actions of 2015.
Just want to say that, welcome. We have 7 viewers currently, and just want to say if you have any questions, if you're actually watching on the Google Plus Hangouts page, you'll be able to ask a question on the left-hand side. You should be able to see a Q&A, and you can actually ask a question, and we can actually answer it for you. Welcome again, guys.
Yes, welcome. Like I say, we're hoping that you'll help spread the word, and this will increase and have people to be more in tune to our board of directors, to our working session, if you will, because that's what this is. The next item that we had to, I know it's a little early for us to talk about, but we had to, it was an action item that was on the previous board's plate that we needed to give some attention to, which was the pool services contract. I think Shane Pool Collins is who we had for the past 6 or 7 years. They were operating pretty much, I think, if you will, month to month. They were operating without a contract. So that was one of the things that we needed to sign with them. What we did was, and Junior will be able to speak just a little bit about it. We're not gonna touch a whole lot on it right now because, again, it's March. It'll be March when we present this to the community, but it's more pressing more towards the May time frame when the pool is about to open. And so you'll really be able to understand, our thought process and what we're trying to do for the community. So I'm excited about that because Junior has really put in some hard work. And so what I just want to tell you from a high level is we were going to reduce the pool monitors' hours. And so when you hear that, the first thing you probably may think is, oh, what's happening? No, what we're doing is we're going to have the pool monitors there doing core hours. And like I said, Junior's done a great job to kind of, what he did was he kind of looked at when people were coming in based on when they were using their swipe or their key card coming in. And so what he did was kind of use that information, and then what we wanted to do is kind of really put our pool monitors at work, put them to work, or if you will, during the levels when we probably most need them. And just let me give you an example. I mean, Sunday morning when the pool first opened up, I don't know if that's a very good use of having the pool monitor there. So again, this is something that we're trying out, and we're hoping that it'll work for us. The beautiful thing about this is we're not totally tied to it. If there needs to be an adjustment or some flexibility, we can do that. But right now, what we set in stone is that we were going to reduce the hours. So, so just like I say, we're not going to talk that much in detail at the March meeting about it, but in the May meeting, Junior's got a presentation on there to help you um, kind of visually see how we came up with the decision. And another thing we're excited about too that we'll share more is that we're going to the theme I think for the board that we want to do is kind of get more of you involved, and you meaning the homeowners. Not necessarily, I mean, of course, in every way, volunteers, etc. However, but we also want to do stuff for us. So we've come up with a couple of activities that we think that you will enjoy, or if you don't participate in it, I think you will enjoy knowing that it's there. And so, so again, more information, more news to come on that in May. But I just wanted to let you know we did have to make a decision. We did have to sign the contract with the pool, and we're all comfortable with the work and what Shane has done over the past several years for us. Junior, Yvonne, anything you want to add?
No,
Go ahead, Yvonne.
no, I don't have anything to say.
Yeah, no, and we'll go into more detail in the next section as we move closer to the pool season. So, you know, just the high level gist, you know, we actually cut back the hours, save some money, and we might allocate that money to either, you know, other things to actually enrich the actual experience of the community.
Good deal, thanks. Good deal. Some of you have probably seen that we have been cutting some trees down. So by the fountain, 2 trees have been cut down. By the tennis court, 4 trees have been cut. And by the swimming pool, 2 trees have been cut. Now, you may ask, what's going on? What's happening? What you know, why do we need to do this? What we've kind of just figured out over a period of time, and even talking to even one of the former board members, you know, we kind of agreed that at the fountains, from the fountains perspective, we've replaced the motor. I think, honestly, I think we replaced this motor twice. I can't 100% sure, but we know we replaced it once, but I think it's been a twice. But we've had a lot of issues with the actual spigot that shoots the water up. And you know, when we've talked to various people who come to clean up from Shane, a lot of it was droppings, sap, I can't say if it's pine because I don't know if that was a pine tree. But whatever that drops from the trees that we had, they would clean up a lot of that, the needles, if you will. And you know, it's a very tough decision. I'm not a tree hugger. However, I do respect, you know, the natural resources of our world, and the trees are very, very nice aesthetically. You know, I think when Ryland built this subdivision, I think at that point functionality was not their priority. I think marketing and aesthetics was, and so when we saw trees and we see nice flowers and all of that, it's like, woo, you know, that looks good. So I think that's what, you know, maybe their focus was. And so what we've decided to do is kind of see if we can kind of make both of them on same playing field, make it still look nice. However, make sure that the things that we have around those trees or that were around those trees are functional. So we need to, you know, when you look at the cost of us cleaning up the pool, the fountain, excuse me, and and the constant work coming back, I think it just makes business sense to just alleviate that challenge. If someone has some suggestions and say, oh, Arthur, I think we can put something else up there that doesn't have a lot of, uh, tree foliage that falls in there. I think the board is open for that. Right now, it looks good, but it's kind of the winter months, so things look the way they do during winter, kind of um, empty looking, if you will. So, but the board is willing to entertain, future whatever around the fountain. From the tree perspective, I mean, from the tennis court perspective, major challenges with the tennis court. Um, I mean, really, the sap that was dropping from the trees basically has destroyed the tennis court, which we'll talk about that in a little bit. So we removed those trees. Again, it looked very nice, but it wasn't functional for the tennis court. Everyone I've talked to from a professional level in designing tennis courts, you never want to have anything around like trees. So if you go up to Rockdale Parker Road, you'll see that there are no trees in sight around those tennis courts. So, and we need to think like that as well. So we're going to save, hopefully, after we get the work done on the tennis court, we should not have any challenges there. Down at the pool, same situation that at the fountain. Needles in the pool, needles get caught up in the pump, and again, just a good decision. A lot of you all might not even recognize the two trees were gone, because when they say that they were gone, I didn't recognize that they were gone, because you have so much other stuff around the pool, so you won't even probably miss those. But again, that's why we did those. And if you haven't seen it, ride by, tell me what you think. Tell us, what you think about that. But again, functionality is our focus. Anybody want to add into that, Junior, Yvonne?
No, it looks good. I've seen it.
Okay, and one of the other action items, which is probably is pretty huge on everybody's list. When we wrapped up the meeting last year, the previous board put out there that they wanted to reduce the HOA fees, and there's just a lot of challenges with reduction at this point. And what we've done, instead of making decisions because of what we feel or what we think, what we did was, Junior's been working on it, and he's probably still in the process of touching it up, and I'll let him kind of hit from Jared just a high level, because I don't want to take any thunder away from what we're going to present in in the next week or so. But from a numerical number standpoint, it just, our decision was based on that, and not on feeling like, oh, this is what we need to do. We need to keep it there. I mean, I have some thoughts around that, and I'll share that with you later. But I'm gonna let Junior, if you can, Junior, just kind of share just briefly your thought process and how your presentation is going to go in terms of discussing the HO fees and our decision to keep it at $500.
Yeah, so roughly, we went over the actual, delinquency report, we went over the actual how much our expenses are, and we're roughly averaging about $120,000, $130,000 in expenses per year. What that works out to be is a delinquency rate of, if we were to say, for example, go to 400, would have a delinquency rate, would need a delinquency rate of, I don't remember the exact numbers, I have more details, but it was something like, 13%. and we currently have a delinquency rate of about 18%. But at 400, we would have to depend on interest or legal fees coming in from delinquent homeowners to actually make up the difference. That numbers was actually too close to actually say we go on $400. So we decided that, hey, you know what? At $400 we can't take that risk, because then we'd have to start cutting quality of service, and then the appearance of the subdivision might go down. So we said, hey, let's keep back at 500 and find other ways to actually provide benefits to the homeowners. So we decided to actually keep it at 500. So I'll go in depth of actually the analysis, come up with numbers to actually show the actual real concrete numbers, so you can actually understand that the decision was not a easy decision, because everybody wanted the lower price, but unfortunately we just couldn't run the HOA as a on $400. That's really it.
Okay, great. And again, it will make more sense. Now, whether you agree or disagree, that's still, that's going to be up to you. But at least what you'll see on next Thursday, or March 3rd, is you'll see that a decision was made based on on analysis, and that's what we want to be able to do going forward, making decisions based on data. So those are mainly some of the actions. Well, really the main things that's had taken place since our being elected to the board. And so again, I can't say it hasn't been a walk in the park or what have you since the holidays. I mean, it did require us to do a little bit of work and constant back and forth through emails, etc. Just trying to make sound decisions for the community. So the next area that I like to move into when we present, at our HOA meeting, is I want to talk about community updates. And when I mean community, I mean that could mean within our community and Rockdale community. That's still I'm still the board is still kind of working through this. One of the things that I want to put out there is that this board has worked extremely hard, probably slightly a little different than almost remind me of the board when we first started, my first stint on the board, because we are also the ARC. Right now, we don't have an active committee at all in our community. So we had I think about 4 or 5 committees, and for whatever reason, people have decided to either just kind of say they've done their time and they want to give someone else an opportunity. But everyone has their reasons, and we respect that. Okay, volunteerism is appreciated. It's hard work, and we know what our first responsibility is here in the community is to our families, and so we have respected everyone who's resigned, and we wish them well, and they've also said that they're willing to help us, but maybe not at the leadership level. So what I'm basically saying is that if for those who are streaming live now, and those who will see this recorded version, if there are any committees that you find any interest in, please contact any of the board members or Rhonda and let us know so we can contact you and see what committee that you want to be a part of. We probably need to sift through that and just kind of discuss a little bit more what committees that we're going to have. the ARC is the big one, and I'll let Junior kind of talk a little bit about the ARC committee. Um, the other committee is the beautification committee, and I'll just talk briefly about that. And then, Yvonne, if you could talk a little bit about the welcome committee. Yvonne was on that committee, but again, because we don't have any committee members, the board is playing welcome committee as well. So I'll just start off and just say the beautification committees, what I understand the goal was is just to kind of get our neighbors involved in helping to keep Fountain Crest looking, if you will, beautiful. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was twice a month where they went out. Board, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we went out early in the morning, do some walking around, cleaning up, and I think it may have lasted no more than an hour, hour and a half. And then I think we met at the pool and just, had a little powwow, and then everyone kind of dispersed and went back home. Great fellowship for those, in our community. And then also, I think the beautification committee was part of voting on Yard of the Month.
That is correct.
Junior? That is correct. That's great. Thank you. So, as of where it stands now, I think we usually, that won't start until the springtime. So we'll come up with a month that it starts. I guess, we'll come up with maybe possibly, April. More details on that to come, but from April to maybe August or September, and we'll have a Yard of the Month. But at this point right now, it will be this board that will do that. We think it's necessary. We think it's important, and it's good to be able to be recognized by your community of having a sign in the yard saying, Yard of the Month. So the board has decided we want to definitely keep that committee going, and for any volunteers on that, please, like I say, if you don't know our contact information, please contact Rhonda and let us know you want to be a part of that. Junior, ARC?
Yeah, I'll run. But one of the things that we missed on the agenda, or I want to add, is the holiday decoration. Linda Martin actually, led the actual team of volunteers over the, holidays, and actually did an amazing job of actually putting together the front entrance and also the fountain. So I just want to also highlight that as well at the meeting. The next thing is we're having an active Facebook page, so we're actually having quite more people interacting on Facebook. So we want to focus on getting people engaged and keeping up to date with the latest information. So I just want to add that as well.
Okay, good deal.
Excuse me. As far as the welcoming committee, I think that would be primarily for resales, because I think we've covered pretty much everyone, and we would need a committee just for if there are any resales. The other thing I would like to mention is I believe we would need someone to head up the newsletter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yes, thank you, Yvonne. Yeah, newsletter. Tony Thomas has done a Herculean job over the past year and a half or so, maybe even longer than that. So for the record, I just want to thank you, Tony, and your wife, Ms. Thomas, for for doing this. We do appreciate it. One of the things that now, Junior, I need you to clarify. We're going to do this year. If we keep this newsletter going, because Tony has some other ventures that he wants to be a part of. We've probably got so many talented people in our community that we just don't know. But Tony is a writer, and he's working on some books. and some children's books that he's been working on, that he's been really been wanting to focus on finishing that. So um, he advised the board that this newsletter that he just completed will be his last. And what the board has decided, in keeping in the same vein that we're doing with this meeting, technology wise, what we're going to do is, instead of passing out the newsletters, which we've done in the past, we're going to do digital. So what we will do is, and I think it's already been done, Junior. Like I said, correct me. I think it has. Okay, great. So Rhonda sent it out through eBlast. So if you did not get the newsletter through eBlast, that means she doesn't have your email, and we need to make sure we get that. Okay. So, but I just want to just add that the newsletter is also available. Committee also available to do as well. Junior, you were gonna hit.
Yeah. Also the POA.
Huh?
If you want to mention the POAA as well.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that in a future.
Okay, fair enough.
Yep. Did you want to say anything about the ARC?
No. I'll actually talk about it at the meeting.
Okay. Well, so we'll okay. Talk about that. Are there any other committees that we're definitely going to go with? Not, I know we. So that's the ARC beautification, welcome, and then the kind of the newsletter. Is there anything else? That was it?
If anyone has some ideas, we're certainly open to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
okay.
we were gonna we're thinking of putting together the walking committee. I've spoken to a couple of people about it, and the feedback has been positive. So we may want to announce it to actually ask for people's feedback at the meeting, so that actually might be helpful.
Okay. Great. So not only will be a community of that looks good, and also we probably need to talk about neighborhood watch that's still out there. So not only will we look good, not only will we be safe, we also want to be fit as well. So so just think about that, about those committees. Okay, some more updates. So as you can see, the streets, well, at least from Reflection all the way back, have been paved, and the manholes have been fixed. So yay.
Amen.
Yes. Amen. So I made some phone calls down to the county, but they were already in the process. I was trying to get an update to find out how long this was going to last, and that project list is just, it is what it is. Now, for those who live on Fountain Crest Drive and Fall River and all of those other, if you will, the original side, the original Fountain Crest, when I talked to a guy named Brian Sykes for the county, he basically said to me that that those streets actually just need to be totally, he said it needs to be reworked. Now, when he said reworked, I asked him, does that mean they need to be dug up? He said, not necessarily, but he just said it just needed, it was much older, and it needed to be cared for a little bit more than what our streets that have been paved. So the SPLOST money has been spent, so we're going to have to wait on a new election year. If there are concerns or feel of unhappiness, you just let us know. I mean, we can go before the board, the commissioners, and just share with them, if anyone has have challenges or what have you. But right now we don't know when the front of the subdivision is going to get paved. That's exactly what the guy told me. I mean, he said, "I'm sorry, I can't give you any date." So that's the update on the streets being paved. So good news, bad news. Like I said, good news, reflection on back, manholes, all of that's done. Bad news is that Fall River and Fountain Crest Drive won't get done in 2016. So, um,
Just wait, hold 1 second, Arthur. Just want to welcome. We actually currently have 11 viewers. Again, if you have any questions, you can actually, if you're using the Google Plus Hangouts, you can actually ask a question, and we'll be able to answer it for you live.
good
Welcome,
deal.
guys.
Yes, welcome, welcome. So also part of our community, as I mentioned, at the beginning, this piece right here of community updates is within the community and Rockdale community. So, board, I am just asking you, what are your thoughts on having any of the elected officials come to our meeting? It's up to you. I mean, it's up to us, but I wanted to get your feedback. I'm actually open to it. One person in particular I would like to come only because he hasn't been in our community since he was elected, and that's the sheriff. And I have spoken to him, and he has just been dying to get over here to just talk to our group. Now, you know, the sheriff is the most powerful person in the county. Next to the superior judge and the chairman of the county, Rockdale County. So the sheriff but most importantly, I guess what I liked about him coming is that when folks like talking about those statistics and crime and all of that, and I can have him to bring all of that. How many calls we've had, how many burglars we had. Our community seems to be very interested in that type of information, and just ordinary, general, safe stuff. So that's why I really would like the sheriff to come. So your thoughts on that, and then Commissioner Oz Nesbitt, he came out and spoke at the last meeting. He did approach me again and wants to come back. That last meeting, was a bit challenging. So he wants to come back. Hopefully, it'll be different. It'll just be different. So I told him that we will see. We can put it out to the board and see what the interest is, and we go from there. Now, I do have to, I'd be remiss if I didn't share that this is an election year. So, I'm sure that there's a little bit of campaigning with that, but I just wanted to put that out there. I wanted to make sure I was transparent with that. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. Your thoughts?
I mean, having visitors always is a good idea. We seem to get good feedback on it. So yeah.
I agree.
Okay. And what we can do, tell me what your thought is. Would you rather them come at the beginning, or because I don't, I mean, it's our meeting, so I don't have a problem if they come, I can tell them to come at 8 o'clock. And, our goal this year is to definitely be out by 8:30. But I can have them come at 8, and that would be, we can have them to do the last little bit, of our meeting, and then we can adjourn. It's up to you. We can do it at the beginning or at the end. It's up to the board. So I just want to get your feedback on that.
I think 8 o'clock is good.
Okay.
That way, by 7 o'clock, between 7 and 8, we've gotten everything out of the pretty much out of the way,
Yeah.
and give them a little time to, yeah.
Yeah, unless say the visitor is actually pertinent to some topic, like if we're talking about a pool and we have Shane or somebody else come out, then we can kind of adjust for that.
Okay. That sounds good. Sounds okay. On just my last little piece here is like future projects that either we as a board have talked about that is something we want to do, or homeowners have come to us and talked to us about. So one of the things that we're actually in the process of getting bids for resurfacing the tennis court. We have a committee. So once we get all the bids, we'll sit down with the committee and kind of share their feedback. And then what we'll do is, I was really, really hoping to have, and I think I will. Actually, I will. I ain't gonna say that. No, 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 no. I was hoping to have all the bids back by the time we have our meeting, but I'm not sure. I'm hoping that we can, but the committee will still need to kind of sit down and talk through this, or what have you. But again, that's one of the things that we talked about doing is redoing the tennis court. It's in really bad shape, as I mentioned before. Those trees did a number. We've got major cracks in that in our tennis court, and just again, a couple other sorts of things. So we will wait to hear back from the various vendors, and we will share with you all what we decide. Another thing is, so I've had a couple of people bring this to my attention. I never thought about it. Been here 12 years this May, and I've never even thought about it. But right in front of our entrance to our subdivision, right there, Highway 20, I've had a couple of people to mention to me about having the county or the state. I think it's the state. It's the state. That would be the state. That's the highway, is a state highway. Have them to come and do an assessment on getting a left turn only into our subdivision. And what that means is, if you're coming from Target or coming from Highway 20 North or 138, what have you, instead of riding by the subdivision and then making that U-turn, there are a couple of people that are saying the line of sight is 100%, and that coming from Honey Creek, and that you can see the cars coming off the hill, and that looking at trying to see if the state will be willing to cut a street that turns directly into the subdivision. Now, if you're leaving the subdivision, you will not be able to go through there. Okay? You will only, that's only for ingress, or not even egress, because that's going out, but for the traffic coming down Highway 20 South and turning in, making a left turn into the subdivision. So it doesn't cost us anything, but it'd be interesting to hear the feedback from the homeowner association, how you feel about it. But again, it won't cost us anything to have them come out and assess them. So that's a project.
Arthur, what would be great is, because it's an election year, we can potentially invite them out and ask them if they can actually put that on the agenda.
Well, here's the thing. That is good, Junior, but that's out of their jurisdiction. Because that's a county. The election folks, that's county. Now, probably what they will say is that they'll make contacts for us, and we might be able to utilize that. We take advantage of it. But Highway 20 is a state highway, so that's out of their jurisdiction. But Junior, I still like the thought of putting it out there, and maybe they can help facilitate that.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think it's worth a try because sometimes at Ralph Road, you got people that want to jump right in front of you when you're trying to make that left turn.
absolutely,
That is
Yvonne.
true.
Absolutely, absolutely. It can be very dangerous. I had somebody to do that to me yesterday, and I'm just sitting there looking like they didn't even know if I was going to make a left turn. They just assumed that I wasn't, and they jumped out in front of me. So, good deal. Another thing that speed calming for back there in reflection, all the way in the back, a reflection that leads out to the other subdivision.
Summit Creek.
Summit Creek, thank you, Junior. Um, there are no traffic calming mechanisms, so now, Junior, that's within the county. Maybe we can talk to them about facilitating that, seeing what we can do. What are some of the options, and how long it takes? I mean, you got a lot of kids, a lot of little kids back there on that street, and to be honest with you, when people hook that left, um, going towards Summit Creek, it basically turns into the Autobahn. So I hear the people back there when Junior and Yvonne, we walked around. Um, there were a lot of concern about that. So we hear you, and all we can do is we can put it out there as a request, and we'll see what comes out of that. So that's something that we want to look at. Another project that we are excited about, and we'll probably be able to explain a little bit better come March. But in short, what I want to tell you is that the board is looking, and the previous board wanted to do this as well. It's just a timing issue. But we wanted to go to a POAA, and I promise you on March 3rd I will have what that means.
Um,
So, you got it, Junior?
yeah, it's property owners. I just had it. Property Owners Association of America.
All right. So, what that does in short, let me just I don't want to get into nothing heavy, but our bylaws were basically written by Ryland, if you will. So with the establishment of a POAA, what that does, it gives our community the right to amend certain bylaws. Okay? I mean, there's some that may be a little antiquated. There's some that's out there that may be tough, but it's for our protection. Those ones are not the ones I don't think that any board will be interested in changing. But there are some other things that we can make some amendments to. And let me just give you one that's really easy. That's right now. We've got the amendment of no signs in the yard, which me as a homeowner individual, I'm a proponent of that, and I would continue to support that. However, we have had children, or there's some adults that we've had, I should say, some achievements in our life that we'd like to share with our community, i.e., graduation, maybe a birth of a child, and so we could, not the board. Let me make sure I'm clear on this. It will be the homeowners getting together 2/3 vote to amend where we could at least do that, maybe for a certain amount of days, where we could vote to put, like, if your child graduates, you can stick a sign in the yard, but not a sign that says John's Roofing came and did our work. I mean, again, it you know we made it well without putting signs like that in the yard. But I have gotten a lot of concerns and inquiries like, why can't I put my child name, why can't I put a picture of her in the yard, or him or my son that graduated, or I graduated. And those are things that we can look at. So that's just a mild example of what the homeowners association will be able to do. Right now, it's out of our hands because of the bylaws. So that's just an example of what we can do. So that is in the works right now. The attorney just sent an email on it the other day, and they're working on that. And so hopefully by the end of this year, we will have some things that we will be able to put out there to the community that we may be able to get some votes on that will probably take effect in 2017. So that's a huge win for our community, and a long time coming, to be honest with you. Other projects, and I'm just listing. I'm not saying that this in any particular order. I mean, we've had folks still talking about the sign up front, and we can entertain thoughts about the sign, the one that we just put out a couple of years ago. The other projects, we want to look at putting some HD cameras, high def cameras. Right now, we've got cameras, but the clarity in getting and IDing cars can be a little challenging for the sheriff's office. So one of the things that we probably want to look at doing is looking at doing some HD cameras. Again, these are all future. We're not saying this is happening this year. This might be another board's agenda, but at least it's something that the community has talked about and we as board has talked about. And then adding some additional cameras as well. So as you can see, these projects, which will soon kind of link back to our HOA fee discussion that we'll have, these are the type of things that we're doing to kind of help keep our community relevant, if you will. I think many of us have seen communities that really start off looking great, and then 10 years later we'll be riding by and say, gosh, I remember that subdivision. That was a subdivision back in the day, and now look at them. Well, I think what I like what's happened over the past years is that the boards, all of us, in past years, even up to now, we're trying to make sure that we're not a conversation of the past. That we're going to always stay relevant. We're going to always stay current. We're going to try doing the very best. If anything happens in this subdivision and someone says, well, gosh, we didn't even, they got away, or, they broke in the house and they got away, at least we could say we're trying. Now, I don't know too many communities that have cameras throughout their subdivision. Matter of fact, I can't even name one. But that'll be a question that I will ask the sheriff. I'll be interested to know, do they know any? But that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to stay relevant. We're trying to stay current. We're trying to stay safe. And we're trying to be happy, here. If people want to say Fountain Crest got their own little village, I could care less. That's fine. It's our village. It's our homes, and so that's what we want to do, and that's what I think this board's goal is. I love the mindset that Junior has helped us with this technology phase. This is the 21st century. This is what it's about. I appreciate this board, and I think with these projects, we're going to always stay relevant. And another project we want to look at doing, which we're kind of getting a little pushback from the county, is that the what we call it, Junior, the board, what's the board that we as we're leaving the subdivision?
Electronic board. The
Huh?
electronic board.
Yeah. So that board we're having to put up manually, go up and put that lettering in there, and I know that's a lot of work. It's tedious work, and what we want to do is try to put electronic board there. But the county is saying that electronic boards are, they got their thing. So we're trying to work through that and see how we can do it. But again, that's bringing this community up to relevancy or keeping it relevancy, as far as technology based and making it easy. It's not fun going out there to change all those letters, especially when it's raining and all that, and stuff needs to happen and letters breaking off. So those are a few future projects. If there are other things that you want us to look at, please share them with us, because these projects don't just come from the board; they come from the community. And another project that the previous board talked about, which I think with some amendments, we can look at. Eventually down the road, of course, is what kind of space we can put on top of the pool house. Maybe, not, clubhouse might not be the right word, but I think that we can make that work for us. Storage, maybe, from a storage, maybe even, having small little meetings there, 20, maybe 20 to 30 people, not nothing big. But I think we can do something like that won't increase our parking space, etc. So it's those kind of ideas, again, that's going to keep us, this community, people continue to talk about this community and this still being the community of choice in Rockdale County. So now what I'd like to do is, if any of the board doesn't have any comments, I'd like to see, Junior, if you could tell us if there are any questions from our viewers that are out there.
Yeah, so there currently are no questions, but I'm not sure if maybe some people are having technical difficulties. Again, this is the first time, so I'll try to work out with a couple of people. I do know a couple of people are actually online now watching, so I'll meet up with them, figure out what the problems are, and then try to sort it out for either the next meeting or sometime in the future.
Okay. Okay, so we pretty much have our shell for the HO. We'll talk about expectations from the community, expectations from our board. We'll talk about action items in 2015, which included the lawn care, pool contract, cutting down trees, and the HOA dues. We'll talk about community updates. Before community updates, we'll also make sure that we acknowledge Linda Martin for her outstanding work in leading that committee, a group of folks and volunteers for the holiday decoration. Also, we'll continue to promote and pump up Facebook. Junior, kind of talk about that and how people can post on Facebook. Then we'll go to community updates. We'll talk about the committees, ARC, beautification, welcome committee, newsletter, walking committee, and neighborhood watch committee. We will talk about the streets being paved and the manholes and updates there. We will have Sheriff Levitt and Commissioner Nesbitt to come out, and we will just share future projects that are just out there that we may want to entertain at some time. And some of these projects we are going to put on the table this year. Some may have to be moved to next year. And then, as always, we will have a financial report from Rhonda and any other things that she wants to share about, our community. How's that?
Very good. I would like to say, in an effort for being transparent, I think what Junior has done so that everyone can join in the privacy of their living room and know what we are doing as the board, I would like to say that he's done a Herculean effort here, and be congratulated.
Thank you guys.
Absolutely.
And making both of us very, very techie.
Absolutely.
Very techie.
Thank you guys. Thank you. There's more to come, actually.
Absolutely. Hey, also to add to all of we're teaching community as well. Junior said we're gonna teach all, and I'm okay with that. So this is good. This is good. Well, if all hearts and minds are clear, and at this point right now, for those who are viewing, please try to come to the HOA meeting, or please get in touch with one of us, or send us a message on Facebook, or send to Rhonda. Let us know if you had any questions that you want us to address, and if we will address them at the HOA meeting. Okay, we want you to know that you're being heard. We may not have all the answers to every one of your questions or concerns, but we will work on it, and that's what this board is committed to doing. Okay. But if all minds and hearts are clear, I would say adjourn, and we'll see you all on March 3rd at 7 o'clock at Yvonne.
St. Pius.
There you go.
Yeah. Just one more thing. If you happen to not well, obviously if you're watching this now, you're watching it live. But this video will be posted on YouTube. So if you want to rewind or go back to it or share it with other homeowners, it will be available on YouTube and also the Google Hangouts to be able to replay.
Good deal.
All right, I'm ending the broadcast. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.